Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Zing This.
Yes.
You got me, Zinger.
And I'm Ellie.
And we will be having our review of Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yes.
But we've got other stuff to talk about first.
Okay.
So, few things on the table. Alright, since we were discussing Marvel we'll discuss more Spider-Man Homecoming momentarily. I've been trying to keep track of what's happening in Secret Empire. So I'm interested, but I kind of want to see where it goes before I really dive too much into it. But there was an interesting thing I found out that happened. Now, Ellie, you know what's going on with Captain America right now. Mm-hmm. He's technically evil, mind controlled by Hydra.
Right.
And trying to, bring down everything. What if I told you he picked up Thor's hammer?
Well, my initial thoughts would be that's crazy. Of course, just because of the fact that you think it has to be somebody that is, true and honorable and that sort of thing. So that is kind of crazy to me.
Here's the thing, and I want to eventually get to where we can have a discussion on what's going on with Thor and, the female Thor, unworthy Thor, everything that's going on in that universe, and some interesting stuff Jason Aaron's done. But I think it's interesting because you made the point, it has to be somebody who's, just and right and everything.
Right.
Well, if you don't know what the enchantment is on the hammer, it is whoever holds this hammer, if he/she, because when Foster picked it up, it changed the she, be worthy, shall possess the power of Thor. There is nothing in there that says that the person has to be good of heart or anything like that. It's just saying that they have to be worthy, and Captain America, in his own mind right now, believes that what he is doing is just and a worthy cause. Which I think is something interesting that they're utilizing, the fact that he has lifted and wielded the hammer before.
Right.
But it's pointing out that the hammer's enchantment doesn't protect it from evil. Anyone who is worthy, it's kind of... It's more of, I guess, in your own mind, too, if you feel you're worthy. Because that's actually... I don't want to get into it here, but that's actually why Thor, Odin's son, can't wield it in the vaguest sense of that term, is he doesn't think he's worthy. By that recollection, he cannot lift the hammer because of his own...
insecurities? Or?
Yeah, but... We will discuss the
self-doubt.
We will discuss the Thor stuff closer to the movie. I kind of want to have a lead up to the movie, talking about what's going on with him. But I just thought that was cool, and it's something to where I think it's messing with a lot of people's minds that wait, he's evil, and it's like the enchantment doesn't really say you have to be a good guy.
Right.
It just says you have to be worthy. I just wanted to point that one out real quick. Get that one out there. But another thing that came out recently, Castlevania.
Yeah.
On Netflix. Watched most of the first episode, and I mean, it's not that long of a series.
Only has 4 episodes.
But it has been renewed for a second season.
Yes.
So kudos to that. Did you watch some of it, right?
Yes.
What did you think of it, first impressions?
Honestly, my first impressions were, I hope this is how they do Witcher.
I am in agreement with that. I am definitely in agreement with that.
I do like the style. I thought it was really neat, and I could see... I could definitely, when you play The Witcher, and they have in between the big
little
moments animated,
where it's like the picture, but as the picture moves, it sort of moves the characters.
It kind of reminded me of that feel a little bit, not exactly, of course, but I don't know. So that's what made me first think of. But I really do like the style, and I'm looking forward to watching the whole show.
Awesome. I just want to point this out though. Apparently, the Assassin's Creed, remember, I think we mentioned this way back in the day. Back in who knows what episode. But we mentioned that Assassin's Creed might be getting a TV adaptation. Mm-hmm. Well, apparently the showrunners for Castlevania are the ones that are going to be doing the anime series for Assassin's Creed. Now, does that mean that it's going to be the same art style and everything? Who knows? It's the same showrunners, so we assume, but... I can see Assassin's Creed in that art style. I can see The Witcher. Maybe that's what this whole lineup is they're trying to do a video game trifecta with it. And I mean, I would love to see a full, couple episodes, but if they do 4 short episodes, I think I would appreciate that to kind of get, a taste of Assassin's Creed, of Castlevania, of The Witcher. It would be a nice little taste for each of them to test the waters to see what they can do. So,
Yeah, how well they're received.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
I know I'd want more, but I'd rather at least get something to
Right.
kind of go off of. Mm-hmm. You have something very interesting that you've been excited about, and
Yeah.
that you're watching right now. But we're gonna be very short on this because they're still coming out, for one,
I know.
and two, we have a date already picked out to discuss Star Wars canon stuff. And since these little, well, Ellie, here you go ahead and explain what this is.
Well, we've talked about it before, but basically, Forces of Destiny. It kind of focuses in on some of the pivotal female characters from the series over the years, whether it is the movies or the Clone Wars, and that sort of thing. They are fantastic. There is 7 of them out right now. We just finished watching one recently, too. So you have a couple of Princess Leia, a couple of Rey,
Ahsoka,
Ahsoka.
Jen just had one.
Jen just had it one as well. And they're so cool. It really starts to dive a little bit more about why these characters are so inspiring, why little girls would look up to them. So it's really nice. And other characters are in it too, like the one with Ahsoka. One of them with her had, it had Anakin in it and Yoda. Yeah. So it's not just those characters, but it's just kind of neat to see this new kind of cutesy, girly version to try to get more fans to the series. But I really, really, really like them so far.
And we will have a more full discussion on those.
Yes.
Like I said, we are going to have in between when we do Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, we will have a in canon
Right.
extra content discussion for our Star Wars celebrations, which, by the way, New Hope will be coming out very soon. So keep an eye out for that on your feed. But there is some stuff that we've got tweeted at us as a response to a thing that we did earlier for episode 1. But I will save that. We will come back to it. That will be in our, I guess, letters and stuff, because we got a review to read. We got this to respond to.
Yay.
So we will get to that. But finally, before we get into discussing Spider-Man, we did go to Virginia Comic-Con.
Yes,
we
we
got
did.
to talk to the co-creators of the Among the Willows comic, which is a Western comic. And it was a really cool interview. We did it on the spot. We will have that after our review, so definitely tune in for that. We actually also, this is really cool because we have responses from people we've worked with on just seeing that we talked to them. Like, we haven't even shown anything aside from a picture of the cover, a picture of their stand, and just mentioning that we discussed it with them. And we already have responses from people, so we want to
Yay.
make sure to mention those too.
Yeah.
So we will get to that. But first, and we're back. And now it's time for us to discuss Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yay. It was so fun.
So we're going to okay, as we always do, we're going to try to do non-spoiler stuff first, and then we're going to
Yes.
get into spoiler territory. So
Well, can I just start with, even from the beginning, it hooked me. The theme music for Spider-Man during the credits.
yeah, where was like the old school Spider-Man
Yes.
music kind of updated with the Marvel music kind of mixed in.
Yeah, and it still did the normal Marvel logo with all the images from Marvel and everything, but it was a Spider-Man song, and it was,
Yeah.
I don't know, it was just really cool to see that change.
I know a few other people have pointed this out, but I want to say this. It feels like a John Hughes movie, but with superheroes. And I'm like, it works. I think it does really well. It's a cool, character-driven story, and I mean, we'll get into more details once we get to spoiler. But if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go out and see it. It is a great addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, in my opinion. I think it's a great. I think they need a movie like this.
Yes.
They need something to kind of have a different perspective, if per se, on the world
I
that
think
Marvel
that
exists in.
it might be one of my new favorites
Ooh, bold statement.
for Spider-Man.
I guess I mean I'm gonna compare this on the yardstick of other Spider-Mans.
Yeah.
I don't know if it beats out the first two Sam Raimi ones.
Yes, the second one.
You think it beats out the second one?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm still deciding from the first.
But you like the first one more than the second one for the Sam Raimi movies, correct?
I did. Yes.
Okay. Which is odd because normally everyone's flipped to where they like the second one more.
Yeah, I like the first one. I really do.
But it's one of those movies. I think they did a great job casting. I think the
Which one are you talking about?
Oh no, we're back on Homecoming.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're on the same.
Sorry, we're back on Homecoming.
Yes.
I think they did a great job with casting. I think that it exists enough. It very much exists in the Marvel universe and uses a lot of stuff from that. But I want to say it doesn't rely too heavily on it. And I'm gonna say this now because this was a worry I had. This is not Iron Man 4.
Right.
I want to say that for anyone who's going to see it, who's like,
Yeah.
oh man, it's going to be Tony Stark all over the place. He's in there as much as he needs to be, if that makes any sense.
Right.
And even then, it's kind of he has a very interesting kind of dynamic with Peter. But it's definitely the world of Marvel that we have seen through the movies is definitely a very present thing in the movie.
Well, yeah, because one of the beginning scenes, and I don't really think this is spoiler, but they're doing cleanup.
From the Battle of New York.
Yes, exactly.
From Loki's invasion.
Right, so they clearly make sure that you understand and realize it's in the same universe.
And then also it has a lot of stuff where it shows the events of Civil War, but from his point of view, which was really funny actually to see.
Can we
all the
break
events.
down the home video section?
Yes,
because that was hilarious.
Yeah, that's very close to the beginning, so I don't think that's a spoiler, but that's kind of him you sort of being introduced to the character of Peter through him taking these little videos of the events of Civil War. Like, you see it from his perspective.
Well, from him leaving to get on a plane to
Yeah.
go over there to what happens there.
To during the battle. And
Yes.
it's really funny because he tries to set up his phone to where it can take a video of the battle and it falls over. So you get bits and pieces, but it's really cool because if you watch that and compare it to the movie, like it
Right.
is like it's not like they kind of slapped it together. It is like you're seeing events from the movie, but just from a different angle.
Right.
So I think,
and this really played into the fact that he's a teenager. I mean, if when that's one thing.
yes, I agree with you.
Yeah.
The teenager thing is very present here. He feels like a teenager. He acts like a teenager because he is a teenager. He's not some 20-something acting like they're a teenager.
And that happens a lot.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Let's make sure we point out that we're not knocking that because it is a common thing for people that are older to play high school students, but he really gave me the feeling that he is a teenager.
Yes.
He's anxious. He's excited. He's moody. That this particular movie just really makes me feel like he actually is in high school and he is experiencing things and he's so excitable but then he's so upset at this, like his mood swings change like they should at that age, and he's really looking for acceptance and from that whole the Tony and him relationship.
Yes,
kind of how you were mentioning earlier, the fact that he is Tony's kind of like a father figure to him, and he's worried about him trying to do stuff too fast, and with the training wheels protocol and stuff, you'll find out. But I just wanted to mention that's what I really, really loved about this movie is it was true to the age.
It felt like a teen teen rom-com sort of, but some people had superpowers.
Right.
I guess let's do this real quick so we can get the spoilers because I know that we both have stuff we want to discuss. We've kind of already discussed Spider-Man as a character and everything.
We love him.
So I'm going to skip that, but let's bullet point his suit.
Awesome. I love the colors. I really love the suit later, but I won't mention it that you see near the end. I don't know if that's considered a spoiler.
I'm not going to say, okay, here's the thing. There is a certain number of suits, but I'm not going to disclose at this point what number of suits there are in the movie that he wears or has.
But yes, I love all the suits.
All right,
I thought they were well done.
villains, I guess, because
Well,
there
what
are.
about you? You didn't say anything.
Oh, I enjoyed the suit. I really like the fact that it is. I don't want to complain about this because I kind of feel like it's very Iron Man-y. Mm-hmm. But at the same time,
he's the one that made it
But
for
at the
him.
same time, it's not super Iron Man-y
Right.
per se. I think it works for what it is, and it's kind of a cool way of him sort of learning how to do stuff.
Right. And it made some really good comedic sections
Yes.
later with the inside voice.
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
villains, because there are multiple villains. We're not going to mention. I guess I don't want to mention the one set tour and spoilers. But let's Vulture.
Okay, I was going
Vulture,
to say,
okay.
that was the one I was going to, the main,
Yeah,
the one,
yeah. Okay, I almost had this spoiled for me, so I don't want to spoil it for somebody else. It's not a big thing, but I would have.
Right.
I wouldn't have been angry. It just would have been like I thought it was cool the way they did it. So
Okay.
everyone knows Vulture's in it, so let's go Vulture.
Vulture. I thought he did a great job. Mm-hmm. And the wings were
Yes.
really cool.
Yes.
The way he just kind of walked out and walked back into them, they were very
Yeah, how he can
seamless.
unclip himself from them is really cool.
And later on, when you find out some stuff, like I said, probably more spoiler area, I thought it melded well into the story, of how you find out how he's involved and related and all that. I thought it was funny. I know the first time when I realized that he was going to be the villain in Vulture, I thought of his role in Birdman.
Yes, yes.
So that was kind of funny, but I liked his portrayal as Vulture.
From Batman to Birdman to Vulture Man.
Jeez, pick a bird or a thing that flies.
Pick a flying thing.
Yes, exactly. But I liked him.
I will agree with that. I did enjoy it. I think I'm going to discuss that more in spoilers.
Yeah.
My extent of my enjoyment of that character. Mm-hmm. So I guess next thing is supporting cast, kind of the kids at school, stuff like that. I really enjoyed. I'm going to go first on this one. So
Sure.
I really enjoyed the kids that he had around him and everything. I thought that it was very well done. There is one scene. His one friend wants to be the guy in the chair.
Ned is my
And
hero.
and here's the thing.
Oh
I
my
I
gosh.
wanted to kind of say this with spoilers, but it's not. There's just a point where he says, "I want to be the guy in the chair," and Peter honestly responds to him with, "What do you mean?" And he's like, the guy in the chair with the computers," and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I know exactly." I'm like envisioning every
Yeah.
hero or every movie where there is that guy in the chair, and I'm like,
Has
I've
the
nev-
headset on.
Yeah, and I've never heard it referred to that way for some reason. I'm like, genius.
Yeah, no, I love Ned. Ned is just, once again, really, really doing a good job of giving that feeling that they're in high school. I
Yes.
mean, he was so excited. He's like, oh my gosh, I want to tell everybody.
Yeah.
And just seeing, it was just.
By the way, that's not a spoiler that Ned knows. It was revealed in a trailer and TV spot. So,
Sorry, I'm not very good at this.
so I'm just saying that's not a spoiler.
And just his it was just as much fun to watch his journey through it as Peter's, if that makes sense. Like, it was really fun to see.
You have a good point, and I think I'm going to mention this before we jump into spoilers.
Okay.
This is not an origin story.
No, it's not.
It's not. They do a good job of kind of filling in a few blanks here and there, but it is not another origin story, which I'm kind of glad they did it this way.
I was very happy about that.
I'm very. I think that's a very positive thing. I mean, I know Spider-Man's story, so you can kind of jump in with me at any point, and I'm good. But I like the way they did it because they did they cut out an origin story, but they had it sort of feel like you were still getting to learn who the character was.
Well, there were conversations between him and Ned, to where
Which those were great.
yeah, they kind of had it was their way of kind of filling in.
Yeah.
Well, how do you have this? I got bit by a spider. Blah blah blah. What can it was great to hear the back and forth between them. So that would fill people in.
Also, one more thing I want to mention before we get into spoilers. I do like that the way he's able to use how he sticks to walls and stuff. Mm-hmm. I think that they really did a good job of utilizing that. 'Cause he uses his foot to stick to something and pull the window. He's
Right.
very aware of his surroundings to be able to move kind of fluidly through them.
Right.
So, all right, spoiler time. I think we're good on spoiler time now. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, go see it. If you have seen the movie, stay and listen. If you don't care about spoilers, stay and listen. But we're into spoilers now, so I guess how do I want to start this one off? The Vulture's the dad of one of the girl he has a crush on in school, and you find that out, and it's an awesome scene. I think that was
so
amazingly
awkward.
You felt awkward. You
No,
felt awkward as an
You're
audience
like-
member sitting there.
You're sitting there going, oh no.
They do a really good
What?
job with that reveal that the Vulture actually
Yes.
is the chick that he has a crush on's father and everything. And he figures out that he's Spider-Man pretty easily, actually.
Yeah, I did not. Well,
It's one of those, I guess he's kind of spooked as a villain anyways and stuff. And I mean, think about it. He's had this spider guy kind of hanging around and everything.
Well, it doesn't help that the daughter in the car ride over was like, oh, wasn't it funny that you weren't there, but you
Yeah.
were? Well, what about this place? Remember, you were only there for 5 minutes.
Oh.
So, I mean,
Okay, sorry. This is going to jump around. This is something we want to talk about in the non-spoiler section, but we decided that it might spoil some stuff. We're going to put a pin in the villain thing real quick. I'm sorry to do this, people, but there was never. I don't think they ever said the great power, great response. With great power comes great responsibility, but it was shown. And I know that there's some other reviews that have said, Spider-Man's a character that kind of suffers and kind of, has, down on his luck. I think they did a good job in this because he was somebody who through actions in the movie, he had opportunities to be a normal kid, like to go to a party, or he was at a party and he was about to, have fun at a party, but then he saw something happen and he felt the need to, as a superhero, he had to go. It was his responsibility to go do this. So it was kind of, he was losing out on the experiences of being a kid, I think, during certain times in this movie, which is the poor Peter in that aspect
Right.
for me. And I think that worked a lot better than, killing off a ton of people and being like he's sad because of that. I think it worked better as you feel bad for him because he's really trying to be a hero. He's trying to live up to Stark. He's trying to live up to the Avengers. And I mean, I don't know if you got the same thing out of that.
yeah. Yeah, we kind of talked about it after we saw the movie. And yeah, it's just, what really got me was when they were at the pool.
Yeah.
And they were getting ready to just be kids and go jump in the pool even though it was closed. And in the girl that he's interested in, he was like, this really means a lot to you, doesn't it? And he's so torn. Like, you can see how torn he is. He really wants to not disappoint his friends, but he feels like he has a duty. He has to do this. And so you really did feel bad for him in that aspect. So, yeah, I do agree with you.
And also, I thought that it was interesting that the villain was an effect of... Sorry, I'm jumping back to the villain now. I just wanted to get that thing out about, like, the poor Peter things. A lot of people, Spider-Man's story is kind of one of... He can never, I guess, truly win. In the end, he has to... He's one who has to kind of suffer. But yeah, we just wanted to discuss, the poor Peter thing, that he's someone who can never win. Like, I mean, he'll beat the bad guy, but it's at, like, a cost where he missed an opportunity to go on a date with a girl, or he couldn't get into, like, it's just he always seems to be down on his luck with something. And I thought they did a good job with this of doing it very subtly. But I also want to say that there is so many, I'm sorry, I'm jumping around. There's so many references to characters, to, like, the Scorpion is definitely is a character in there. There is Miles Morales is mentioned by
Donald Glover.
Character mentions that he has a nephew, and if you know who his character is, then you know that Miles Morales is that character. Also, having the Shocker and Shockers, since there was two of them, that's the villain I didn't want to mention because I didn't know there was going to be. I knew that there was going to be a Shocker, but I didn't know that there was going to be two. So that's why I wanted to save it for spoilers, because when it was referred to as plural, I was either like, oh, there's going to be a gang of them, but then when the one guy in the movie was kind of designated as the Shocker, I'm like, well, something's going to happen to him, obviously.
Yeah.
So I kind of figured that there was something going on. But the villains though, all these villains, I just want to point this out, are directly affected by the events of the Avengers. The Avengers caused these villains to basically come about because, I mean, yeah, they caused all this damage and everything, but Stark kind of took the contract from them to help clean up, and that's what their whole thing was to get back.
Well, they were going to lose everything.
Yeah.
I mean, the
So you kind of feel sorry for them at first, but then I guess it flips.
the Vulture, this is his construction company, and he promised all these people jobs.
Yeah.
And he would have
bought
lost
trucks.
his house and
Yeah.
everything, and so he felt like he was in a corner. He had to do this. Mm-hmm. So, but I wanted to go back to the when you were talking about all the just different mentions and stuff.
Oh yeah. Sorry, we weren't jumping around with this, but this was such a fun movie that
Yeah.
there's so many different references and stuff. So go ahead.
But stuff like in the classroom, you had pointed out, and I wouldn't have even noticed it, as quickly as it was. But like when they were in the classroom, there was a picture of Bruce Banner up on the wall.
Yes, there's a wall of like different scientists,
Yeah.
like Einstein and all these other ones, and then Bruce Banner's one of them too.
So that is so
that's
cool.
So that's a cool reference.
Yes.
There's also the bank robbers wearing the mask and everything.
Oh, my
if
gosh.
you noticed,
So
he
funny.
took the guy who had Thor's mask on, and punched the Hulk with it.
Yes.
So that was a nice reference there. And I just got a question for you. So you unfreeze a World War II like iconic hero. What's something you're going to do with him as soon as you unfreeze him? Are you going to make him film a ton of PSAs for kids at school?
Well, duh.
Because those were great.
Yes.
All of them, including the one at the end of the movie.
The one where they're in the gym.
Yeah.
And the like sly under his breath comment the gym teacher makes.
Oh yeah, where he's like, yeah, he's probably a war criminal now.
That was so funny. I just and are we going to talk about the after credits?
Yeah, I just said, I'm like,
Yeah.
even the one after the credits.
Yeah. So it was great the way he kind of just, made fun of everybody that was
Yeah.
sitting in the audience. Said, "Oh, aren't you disappointed that you're still sitting here?
Yeah.
This is what you got."
No, I mean they had the one for where he was in detention,
Yes.
and then there was a vague one. I think they were still going where he was talking about his body changing, and he goes, "I know something about that," and I'm like, these are priceless because it makes the Marvel universe feel more lived in that they would have
Yes.
someone on that kind of pair, like a hero like that doing these cheesy things.
Well, and I can we talk about the suit now?
Okay, yes, we can talk about all the Spider-Man outfits.
Oh my gosh. So, first off, his homemade one.
Is reminiscent of Ben Reilly's The Scarlet Spider.
Yes, it was pretty cool.
So I just wanted to point that one out real quick.
So there's that one. Mm-hmm. Then we of course have the one that Stark made,
Yes.
which was phenomenal, and it was really great the way they were talking about. So basically, Stark had put a program in place to where he couldn't access but only certain parts of the suit.
Yes.
Until he felt he was ready.
Yes,
You
because
know.
there was like little training things he had to go through.
The
apparently,
training wheel program.
Well, no, it was pointed out that when he unlocks it, that it's like, oh, congratulations, you've completed all blah 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 blah
Right.
training modules, and I'm like, what?
And it was really funny because there's a scene where it gets hacked.
Yeah.
So he has access to the whole kit and caboodle for his suit, and he has no idea what he's doing. It say there's like 300 and some different combos.
It's some ridiculous amount
Yeah.
of different web shooter combos
right,
that he
exactly.
can use.
And just seeing him like try to and every time he tries to do something, or if there's an enemy around, the suit automatically wants to do like kill mode.
Yeah, and the eyes go narrow and they
Yes.
turn red. I'm sorry. I wish there was a payoff to that joke at some point, to
Oh,
where it would have
man.
revealed what exactly the kill
I don't
mode
know.
was.
I kind of like it the way it was. It kept it mysterious. It was pretty cool. And then of course, near the end of the movie, when Stark is talking to him and he
And
offers him something. I don't know if we're going to go into all that or not, but
Well, I wanted to talk about the whole Stark and him dynamic since we're
Okay.
into spoilers and everything.
I really love that suit. That suit
Yes.
was gorgeous.
It's very reminiscent of the Iron Spider from Civil War, but not. It's still the same spider color, but if you look, the spider had like gold.
yes.
It looked very
Gold
gold.
accents.
Yeah, gold
Yes.
accents. So it looked very reminiscent of the kind of Iron Spider mixed with his regular outfit.
It was very, very cool.
But that's the end, the end where it was like, oh, this was just a test. It was just a test, and then there was actually a crowd of people there waiting for him to reveal himself and everything.
And announce him as an official Avenger.
But that's the thing. I mean, he wanted in the end to stay on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to be, the small time hero and everything because
Right.
he felt like he could do a better job as that.
Well,
And he didn't want to give
yeah.
up on, because he was like skipping class and everything. And by the way, fun fact, the principal is the great-grandson of one of the Howling Commandos from Captain America.
Oh, wow.
If you looked in the background, there's a picture of his great-grandfather.
Okay.
I can't remember. I think it's great-grandfather. His relative who was the Howling Commando.
Okay. Well,
So-
I have a question.
Yeah.
I actually have a couple questions for you.
All right.
But the first question is, what did you think of MJ?
I
what
thought
did you
that was
think
a
of
nice
them
touch.
kind of flashing in some stuff there that's a little different than what
I
they
thought that was a
normally-
nice touch that her initials, and she points out that she goes by MJ. Thought that was a nice touch. Am I upset that it's not the character from the comics? I'm at this point. I'm like, you know what? Do whatever you want. It makes it more interesting that way. Plus, another review pointed out that might not be the MJ.
Okay.
That there could be a few people that go by that name technically. Like there could be an actual, but I'm like, you know what? I kind of don't want them to do that. I don't. I'd rather them just have it be her because I think that her character and everything was fun to have and she was sarcastic. She obviously had a thing for Peter though,
Right.
because she mentioned something a few times here and there where they are like, wait, what?
And she clearly is smart.
Yes,
like MJ
very smart.
is. So they can. I think what they might do, just
It
if
would've
we're
been-
gonna theorize for a minute, I think what they might do possibly is, you know how teenagers go through these periods of self-discovery, this and that.
Yeah, but-
So I
yeah,
mean,
it
I
could-
can see them kind of in the next movie, oh, and she dyes her hair red, or you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Like I can see that.
You know what? I mean.
I don't care, but I'm just saying that's
there
what
is
I think.
one complaint I have about her.
Okay.
I wish when he was walking off after she like growled him, she said, "Well, what are you doing, Peter?" Like she had said, "Go get him, Tiger," or something like that. It would have been a nice touch as like a definite like little yes, that is definitely.
Right.
But maybe they didn't want to do that.
Right.
They didn't want to go that far with it.
And can we talk about Aunt May for a minute? I have to. I'm sorry.
Go for it.
Okay.
Sorry, I already know this is going, so
I apologize. So I'm all for beautiful women
Mm-hmm.
and all that stuff. As people that know me know that I love Grimm Fairy Tale, and I collect it because I just think the artwork's gorgeous. So I have no problem with women and all this stuff. But I just the Aunt May thing, it just bothers me. I can deal with a lot of the other stuff in the movie. I think it's a great, fresh, new take. I really do. But I just have a hard time with the whole Aunt May and how she's portrayed in this movie. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just, it's cool. If you like it, cool. I have no problem with you liking it. For me personally, I can't get on board with it. I think it's cheesy, and and the whole, oh, I know something's been up with you, and
oh, and the end of the
Yeah,
the end of the movie. What the?
yeah, that was cool. I did like that because that's how I would react. I'd be like, what the beep? Right?
Okay.
But when he
Do we need to explain what that? No, never mind.
No.
Never mind. Go ahead. Sorry.
But my thing is like, she is supposed to still be his caretaker.
Yes.
Right. And so I expect a little bit more, like the one part where he's been gone, she doesn't know where he was, she's been calling, blah, blah. He walks in and she says like two things to him and they're like, oh, just kidding, we're going to move on now. Like, I just don't like the way they portray her. Is she's just so laxed that it's just, I don't know. I don't like the dynamic.
But she's the
of
cool
her.
guardian for
Yeah,
him.
of course she is.
In my
She's the cool hot guardian.
In my defense, I understand why they're doing a younger version of her. They kind of want to make sure that it's departed enough from the other ones.
Right. I mean, I know why they're doing it. I just don't care for it.
As for I'm like she's there for what she needs to be. I think. I mean, I completely understand where you're coming from.
Well,
But at the same time, she's supposed to be slightly younger in like the Ultimate Universe and stuff like that too. So
yeah, I mean, I know why they're doing it. I get it. It's just like every time, every single reference. Oh, hot. You know, they go to the restaurant and he gives her free food because he thinks she's hot.
I guess it was just an ongoing joke that they wanted to do that apparently you just weren't on board for.
I didn't care.
So on that regard, if anyone else was not on board for this joke, please comment.
I want
And
my
if you
older
were for
Aunt
this
May.
and if you were for this joke, please comment.
Just tell me to calm down.
There you go. Don't tell her to get more excited. It's hard it's hard to reel in
It
sometimes.
is hard
people.
to contain me. But I had one more thing.
Okay.
I kind of wanted to talk about just what were, and I can go first just to give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to talk about like what were a couple moments in the movie that you just absolutely loved.
Okay.
I'm going to say number one had nothing to do with any of the characters. It was the two kids that were doing the high school TV show. You know how like, and
It was so cheesy.
well, they had a couple things they did, but the one in particular was the homecoming. There, you know, they show the big banners. Homecoming
Yeah.
is around the corner. Blah blah blah. And the guy, it was a guy and a girl that was doing the TV high school network thing, and he goes and asks her to homecoming like on the TV show, and it was just so awkward. And that was another reason is there was just so many parts of this movie that was just great to kind of really make sure you understood. You know,
They're in high school.
They're in high school, but this was classic. It was so funny. And then the second one is one of the times where he goes after the bad guys and this and that, and he's swinging through the city and the buildings, and then he gets to a part where it's this big open park.
No, that's when he's trying to get to him, and that was one of my favorite moments too, because I always wonder what happens if Spider-Man just doesn't have any buildings around.
It was so awesome, guys. Seriously, you just see him and he's running because he's like, oh crap. There's nothing I can attach onto, and they just show him like kind of like from far away, just
right.
running down this field, and he's like, because he's not used to doing that. That was great. I thought that was a fantastic.
I agree with you. That would definitely be with me in mind. Really quick on the Stark stuff, since we are, I thought their whole dynamic was good. I like the amount Stark was in it. That he, I don't know if it was on purpose that he was playing distant, but it was pointed out later in the movie that he did know everything that was going on with him. He was paying attention. He just wasn't like on top of the situation every single second.
Well, he was probably giving him some space, like, to make his own decisions.
Exactly. Because he did point out, you know, the woman with the churro and everything. Like that was something that he got, and even Peter, when he was saying it to him, he's like, "Why did I even mention that?" And I just felt like that dynamic was interesting to see that, and I think it kind of redeems Stark's character maybe a little bit from the events of Civil War to show that, you know, maybe he is trying after the events of Civil War to not, you know, make the same mistakes that they did to lead him to those to what happened there.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like like I said, Iron Man was in there just enough to where it was, I think, well done. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, my only nitpick is there was not very much web slinging, in my opinion. It's in there, but by comparison to the other movies, it's very laxed. Which, I mean, I'm not against, but he's still learning how to be Spider-Man, and I guess I'm kind of playing both ways here, because when you did see him web slinging earlier in the movie and he just slammed straight into the ground, like, he's still learning how to do a lot of this stuff, and he's not really in super big area. He's not like in the city.
I kind of disagree with you.
You thought there was a good bit of web swinging?
There is the section where he majorly screws up with the cruise ship. There's tons. But I'm just saying. Then there's the part where he is at the gas station, where he keeps trying to do different things when he's in the warehouse.
I meant like him traveling, web swinging, traveling around. Because the other movies seem to have a good bit of that. But that's the thing. Maybe this movie had to take that stuff out to progress the story. Because I mean, it's not super interesting to see him.
They focus more on his using just the web shots.
But like I said, he's in a smaller area. He's not in the big city, so they probably didn't have as much of it shown.
Yeah.
I mean, he can obviously do it. So, yeah, that's my only critique. Is I would have liked a little bit more web slinging, personally.
Swinging or slinging?
Swinging.
Okay, because it sounds like you're saying slinging.
Oh, slinging. No, there was plenty of that.
That's why I disagreed with you, because I was like, there was tons of web slinging. What are you talking about?
No, there was, and it showed off the different, web combos he can do, which that was cool. But like I said, his swinging from building to building was something that was lax. But that's by comparison to the other movies too. So, so yeah, but. No, like I said, overall, I think this is a great addition to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and I definitely am very excited to see where they go with it, because it's still a superhero movie, but it's different enough that it kind of is a very much, like I said, a teenage rom-com, which is really, I think, fun, because I think they nail both those, a superhero and a teenage kind of up and coming story too. Mm-hmm. So. Yep. Any last thoughts, Ellie?
No. I overall absolutely love it. I can't wait till it comes out on Blu-ray and watch it again, and I can't wait for the kids to see it. I think it's great.
All right, we're back. So, final thing we're going to discuss. Well, we got some stuff to read. Mm-hmm. Some comments, some reviews, but we promised Among the Willows.
Yes.
So, got to talk with them. Mm-hmm. I have the sound bite of that, so we're going to take a quick listen to that. So, roll the tape. All right, I'm at Virginia Comic-Con right now, and we are going to be doing a quick interview with the writers and creators of Among the Willows. If you guys just want to state your names for our fans and everything.
I'm Adam Metters.
I'm Sam Romsberg.
And why don't you guys go over real quick just, what your comic's about and where, what got you guys started on this?
So our comic is about, or basically what we wanted to accomplish with our comic book is tell your classic, true to the roots of the genre, Western tale. It's like right now in the Western genre, there's a lot of tie-ins with other genres, like there'll be like a Western fantasy, a Western sci-fi, a Western horror story, which is all very cool, but we wanted to tell something that like we haven't really seen in a while, which is like your old, Tombstone, Unforgiven, Hell on Wheels kind of story. So our first book, our book as a whole is about two childhood best friends with a very troubled past that they choose to run away from as children. Our first book picks up with them as adults living in Western Texas, seen as these like these badasses that keep all the trouble out of town, when all of a sudden a new threat rolls into town, bringing in a piece of their past that they tried so hard to run away from. So that's
the series really picks up from there. Yeah. We one thing we really like about comic books we love always have like long twists and like built up backstory and whatnot, so it's
big shocking things, people showing up where you don't expect them, things happening when you don't expect them to happen.
Exactly. The story really picks up, like it really hits the ground running.
Where would be the best place for our listeners and fans to find you guys if they want to learn more about you?
Facebook. We're on Facebook at Among the Willows Comic, and Instagram at ATW Comic, and then Store Envy. Our Store Envy is amongthewillows.storeenvy, sin.
Oh, I should say .com.
Yeah, .com.
It's .com. I had typo.
But yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much. I definitely, am going to be picking up the first 2 issues. So
Awesome.
I would recommend our fans to do that. They gave you where to find them, so definitely check them out. That was my discussion at them at Virginia Comic Con. That was with Adam and Sam, who are the writers and co-creators of Among the Willows. We got the first 2 issues of it, and
Yep.
actually, if I'm remembering correctly, you are listening to this on July 10th. July 10th is also when you can pre-order Volume 3, when they
Awesome.
start taking orders. So you are listening to this, if you are listening to it the day it comes out, you're able to do a pre-order on on issue 3. Issue 3, my
Yes.
bad, issue 3.
Yes.
It was really fun to talk to them. They were great guys. I really thoroughly enjoyed, like I said, discussing stuff with them. Ellie, before we went there, you were very much wanting to check them out and everything.
Yes. Well, I love Westerns.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're great, and I was drawn to the art style. I really liked the colors and just the way it was drawn. And so I was really excited when I found out that they were going to be at Virginia Comic Con, and hopefully we could, pick up the issues and kind of go from there. So I was stoked to be able to talk to them and see them. They're really great guys, very down to earth. So.
All right. So just a behind the scenes thing real quick, because
Yes.
I actually have some feedback already from us just
Yeah.
posting stuff earlier today. We normally post the little collage photo at
Mm-hmm.
around noonish on Sunday.
Yes.
And we already had a comment from David Ginsburg, Tales from the Fandom,
Mm-hmm.
had actually commented on it going,
Among the Willows has a nice art design, which I cannot agree more with.
which he would, I mean, we did a good job of the picture in the background, but he had to have checked that out.
Yes.
So awesome that we had him checking it out. And Phil, who was just on our recent episode discussing the Umbrella Academy,
Yeah.
also had a comment, which I thought was awesome. Like I said, this is very quickly.
Yeah, and Phil said, just check the artwork synopsis on this story, and I am immediately intrigued.
Well,
Which,
hopefully, Phil, after our discussion on it, after the interview you listened to, hopefully you and David, this is something you'll check out. And as for everyone else listening to, definitely check them out. Like I said, they're very, very up and coming and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to talk to them, and they are really great guys, and it was fun to discuss stuff with them. I got a button, and there's a sticker on our mic stand now from them
Yes,
too.
it's on my mic stand.
Yes, it is. So there's that. Like I said, definitely check that out. But I'm going to do the Star Wars thing first.
Okay.
So we actually got a Twitter message about our episode 1 episode of the Star Wars special discussing the Phantom Menace. Yeah. A little bit.
Way back.
But hey, I mean, you should definitely go listen to our backlog. We got plenty of great
Yes.
stuff. So Ellie,
Yes.
if you would, I guess we'll go with their Twitter handle.
Okay.
If you want us to go with your name, please let us know for the next time. But
Yes. So at not_present96. And he put, just listen to the Star Wars Episode 1 review show. And have you looked at the Qui-Gon Jinn Grey Jedi theory? And then he put, it really explains his non-Jedi-like behavior throughout the story and also why he wants to train Annie.
well, Ellie, have you looked into this at all? And I know you're kind of big on theories sometimes, and other times you're not.
I haven't really.
All right. So the theory is, and if I'm incorrect on this, please point it out. But I think I know. I've heard this before, and it's something I have vaguely looked into. The theory is that Qui-Gon Jinn is more of a gray Jedi than an actual Jedi. Like he kind of balances the Force. He's very in tune with the living Force, which can both be light and dark. But that also kind of plays into the theory that maybe he was more of a true Jedi than the original ones, if my theory and everything holds up for the new movies. But I'm very interested in this. I think it's very cool. The only issue I have with it is 2 things.
Okay.
One, if they kept stuff in canon, there is the fact that, and this, I will give credit to our buddy Chet when he was on for our Star Wars non-canon discussion. He pointed out the Jedi Apprentice books. It is pointed out in there that Qui-Gon's previous apprentice turned to the dark side. And I think that's interesting because if Qui-Gon trains kind of as a, middle ground where it's like, he trains with the living Force, there's potential there that you could have somebody turn to the dark because it's a tempting thing to do. But since that's not canon, we have to go by the in-canon explanation. But as for the theory, I tell you what, I actually discussed this with Chet after I got this message of possibly doing a Star Wars theories and kind of myths and stuff like that episode when there's more stuff out about The Last Jedi.
Okay.
That we would return to our theory chairs and discuss more stuff. And he said that he would be down to discuss stuff like this. So if there's any more stuff within the Star Wars universe that you want us to kind of delve into, we will do an extra episode. I don't know when.
Right.
Assume that if there has been a trailer released or more information released, then that will come out. But he said that he's down to do that. Like I said, thank you for putting that out there, because that is very interesting, especially with the new stuff that's coming out about Grey Jedi. That maybe, I mean, it's kind of retroactive. I don't think this was planned out, but retroactively, it does fit. So thank you very much for that comment, and
Yes,
thanks
thank
for
you.
listening. If you're
We
excited,
appreciate it.
if you're excited about a new Star Wars episode, we will have one out very shortly. So within the next 2 weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll definitely by the end of the month. Definitely by the end of the month. So that's that comment. We also recently got a review and a comment. I'm just gonna go with their Twitter handle, which is, as we did before, Both Eyes Missing. So Ellie, if you would not mind reading their 5-star review.
Yes. Well, they put subbed and loving it.
That's the title.
Right. And heard you all on the Secret Transmission podcast.
Woot
Hi,
woot.
guys.
Yeah, thanks, Secret Transmission.
And now I am following you as well. You can find me at, and then Both Eyes Missing on Twitter.
Yes, and they messaged us on Twitter and gave me and you a few recommendations for stuff related to like Secret Transmission topics to check out, and I have, so thanks for that. That's something a lot of fun I like looking into, so thank you for that. But they actually, while we were doing the record, actually tweeted at us, so you're actually getting a very quick update on this, so timing is everything. But Ellie, if you would.
I 100% support a Metal Gear focused podcast. Love Metal Gear. I pray that the Patriots do not really exist, but I feel like they do.
And then
It would make a great episode.
yes, so I'm assuming you're listening to our patriotic episode, because I believe I think I've dropped other Metal Gear references, but I think that's the most heaviest one, was
Yeah,
discussing the
probably.
boss and stuff. I'm, no offense to Ellie, I'm a bigger Metal Gear fan than she is.
Oh, it doesn't mean I don't like it, though.
Oh, but she likes it. I've played all the games,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things I'd love to do, and my only issue is Metal Gear's, like, mythos and lore is the most confusing thing in the world sometimes
Oh,
to
but it's
explain to
fun,
people.
though.
It is.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll work in a special at some point. But it's definitely
And it would
something
be
that
fun to have the little sound effects.
I can probably put some sound effects
Yes.
to that. So,
And we could record it under a box.
wow. You just really went out there for the references, didn't you?
I'm excited. I think
know
it'll be
you are.
fun.
Okay, well, it's definitely something that's possibly in the future. I don't know how quickly or how soon, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can definitely work on getting a Metal Gear episode together.
We just love when listeners give us ideas
Yes.
and do this. So I'm super excited. Thank you so much.
So definitely thanks for that. Thank
Yeah.
you for, giving us, that idea and everything. I think that, few things. Definitely check out our previous episode where we discuss the Umbrella Academy with Phil Rude. That was actually a lot of fun to do
Yes,
that. And
please read it.
if you are a fan of my terrible impressions, that is definitely an episode to tune
God.
into.
Yeah.
Later this week, we will be having a special that has been 20 years in the making. If you can, it's recently had its 20-year anniversary. So if you can figure out what that is, that will be later on this week, and we are joined by a special guest, Ryan Cody, of the Illustrious Gentleman, and my Patronus is a podcast.
Yes.
My Patronus is a podcast.
It's a hard one to say sometimes.
It is a hard one to say quick, but maybe that gave you a hint at what we will be discussing. That will be out later this week.
Yes.
So definitely check out that. That is going to be our first discussion on that topic I think we've done. So definitely check out that. Star Wars will be out later, and I guess we will reveal now officially what our watch this is. We are doing Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. We're doing the
Yay!
movie. I'm sorry. I know that I've read the books. I know there's a ton of people that are a fan of the books, but we're doing
Maybe we could do books another time.
yes, I think books another time would be
Yes.
great, but since if you're paying attention to our episode numbers,
Yeah.
after
We're such dorks.
after this episode's 40, next one, that's the one that we just discussed, will be 41.
Mm-hmm.
So that would make next Monday's episode 42.
Yes.
And if you know anything about Hitchhiker's Guide to the
It's
Galaxy,
the
that
answer to everything.
life, universe,
Yeah.
everything.
42.
So we will be discussing the movie.
Yep.
There might be some mention of the books, but if you want to watch the movie, definitely check it out.
Mm-hmm.
For book fans, like we said, if there is enough interest, we might revisit
Yeah.
discussing the books
I have
too.
a really cool version of one of the books. It's
Yes,
like
you do. Yes, you do.
Thank
you have
you.
You have the art one. I have the one that looks like
Yeah.
that's like it has like the golden leafed. I'm
But
sorry. I'm holding my
know.
hand like people can see what
Yeah,
I'm doing.
yeah,
It's,
people can see what you're doing, but it's still cool. No, and mine has like the holographic cover and everything. Super cool. Super cool. Maybe we'll take some pictures of our books and put them on Instagram and Twitter.
Speaking of which, what are some of the best ways to listen to us, Ellie?
SoundCloud and Stitcher and
Tuned in and
in.
Google Play. You can also find us on iTunes. And if you're on iTunes, what do?
well, obviously you give a 5-star review.
We greatly appreciate it. We'll read it on the podcast.
Yes, please.
You can also find us on Facebook, Zing This.
Mm-hmm.
You can find us on Twitter
Tweet at Zing This.
and tweet at us. I mean, if it's something that's relevant to something we could discuss on the show real quick, we definitely try to be good about responding to any tweets we get.
Or if you want to tweet at me, you can tweet at me personally.
Yes, we both have our individual Twitters. Ellie is in need of fans right now. She needs followers.
I love to talk to people, so please send me
Why
messages.
don't you give them your Twitter handle?
Yes, because I posted a really awesome picture of Larry Hama. He's so cool, and I have more stuff to come in the Dr. Whovians, the Whovians out there, but I just haven't posted them yet. But at Firefly71777.
And that's 3 sevens
Yes.
after the 1.
Yes. So please talk to me. I love to talk to people.
So definitely check out Ellie and our own Twitter feed.
Yes.
And you can also find us on Instagram at Zing This Podcast. And if you go to our Instagram, I have the Among the Willows stuff in the description. I mean, in the thing for this. And I will have their information down in the description. So definitely check them out. And if you want to watch us play some games, you can go to twitch.tv/Zingness. You can go to patreon.com if you want to help support the podcast. Once again, thank you to David Ginsburg, who is our newest Patreon
Yay!
subscriber.
Thank you.
And
YouTube, you can search Zing This, and as we've mentioned before, if we can get 100 subscribers,
it will be youtube.com/Zingness.
Yes.
We won't be youtube.com/978. I don't know what the actual... It's a ton of numbers and letters.
yes, just
So,
Zing This. And,
but-
and if you have any recommendations,
Or
comments,
just want to get in touch with us.
yes, please email us at zingthis@gmail.com.
Finally, our sound guy is Aaron.
Yep.
Check him out. And DJ Golden Boy.
89.
Play us out.
Bye, guys.